the game wouldn't fit together without the animations, without the feel of the cube.
Yeah, exactly. We're big believers in like the thing that you do over and over again should feel as good as possible.
Right.
And so we've put a lot of effort into those sorts of player feedback things. So yes, Dan's the visual man. He wears many hats, as we all do in game development, but technical artist, level design. He's like, if I'm technical director, Dan's creative director, officially at the company, is how we distinguish our roles. Although there's a lot of crossover. Like a great example of that is the water. Dan did 90% of the work on the shader, but a bug that emerged that I did a little deep dive into on the devlog, if you want to join the Discord, cheeky plug.
I'll leave a link to it in the description. Is it on the link tree?
Yeah, it's all on the link tree.
Okay, it'll be in the description then, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the water shader, the way it works is it uses the camera's position, because, okay, taking a step back, reflections are hard.
Feel free to get as technical with this as you want to.
Reflections are hard and expensive computationally. So Dan, in his infinite genius, had a way of doing this, which is he has a second camera, which uses the camera's position, but looks up instead of looking down.
Okay.
So it gets that angle from below, that looking up at the environment. And then what he does is he takes that camera view, he turns it into a texture, and then maps that onto the water. So it's doing reflections without any of the crazy, like, ray tracing, bouncing. It's just got another camera looking up. The problem with that's brilliant, but the problem is that camera sees stuff that's underwater. So if there's a block that's chilling underwater and the camera can see it, what it's going to do is project that visual of the block on top of the water, even though it's underneath. So I wrote some code that uses some crazy math to ignore stuff below a certain Y level. And so it essentially means that the camera can't see stuff below that. So that's a very classic example of Dan making something really cool and Rue just editing it a tiny bit.
I do think the reflections are really cool, though. Like, that is...
It's so beautiful. He's done so many... There's so many little things... In the way that there's little things in the cube rolling, there's so many little details to the water, in that there's so much stuff. You'll notice when a block is just sitting in the water, there's a big decal projector that does, like, I forget what he calls it, but the little wet layer just sitting above the waterline, there's like a dark strip.
Okay.
It's that attention to detail that just blows me away every time. Yeah, you wouldn't even notice it without me telling you, but it looks, and it moves with the water, and it's just...
okay. Like, I think...
It's nuts.
It's to the point where it's a lot of very, very, very subtle things, which... If you list them out on paper, none of them really sound that important. But with everything brought together, it creates a really good-looking experience. Like, we'll get to the more on the gameplay afterwards, but visually, this looks really good. Just like going back to the role, like there's something. Is that is it a static speed the entire time, or does it speed up?
No.
I thought there was something about that.
It's so originally in the first version, the way that I did it, which was cooked, is that the acceleration. Actually, I have a cube on me because of course I do. I have a cube on my keys. The acceleration was linear, so it got faster as it rolled.
Yep.
So originally it was a bit of a thump, 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 thump sort of thing. And it felt quite heavy. The way that I've done it now is, instead of having control over the acceleration of the cube, I now just have control over the speed, which is obviously much more tighter control over how the cube moves. And so what it is that it's just a classic ease in, ease out S sort of curve. And then the way I do it, not to peel back the curtain too far, but the way that I do it is if the player makes an input, they say, I want to go forwards. The system then calculates through a series of raycasts what is around them. So it figures out if there's blocks to the side, below, in front, up and down, and then uses all that logic to pick the best move. And that is generally like, is there a block in front? Okay, well, obviously I can't roll forwards.
Right.
Stuff like that. And then once we've found our move, there's an empty game object that I've called the pivot that I put at the place where the cube's going to pivot, and then I parent the cube to the pivot, and then I just rotate the pivot. And that rotation is controlled by a curve that is just a classic ease in, ease out S. And it's one of our core pillars is that we want it to look satisfying and edible as much as possible. So those, like, everything is a nice ease in, ease out.
Did you say edible, or did I miss
edible?
Edible.
No, we want people to want to eat the cube.
More on that, please.
Well, it's just like, well, you know those like ASMR Instagram endless soap cutting videos. That's sort of what we're trying to tap into. That part of your lizard brain. We want it to be appeased by our humble cube.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone try to describe their game like that.
Yeah, well, it's those things get crazy numbers, and it's not something that we, again, initially planned, but has sort of come about because of, like, it's funny. When we took it to PAX, what we thought people would get out of it was like, the puzzles and the growing in size. That's what we thought people would find interesting. But one of the things that people found the most enjoyable was just crushing blocks. And we were like, that was just like a design fix, because we like didn't know what to do with the smaller cubes once you got bigger. And so we're like, you just delete them. That's easy. And so like we wanted diegetic reasons for what happens when you delete them. So we just added a little particle effect, and that was it.
I do like that the cube particles do interact with the terrain. That is nice.
Yeah, Unity's got a lovely little system that just handles that for us. But there were people that would not move on until they'd crushed every single cube possible. It just like completely blew us away. And so that sort of lesson really pushed us into the sort of satisfying ASMR angle that we've pushed with the second iteration of Cube, in that we want to make it as like ASMR satisfying as possible.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I hadn't thought of it like that, but
yeah.
Hearing you say that, I can definitely see what you're going for here. And another little thing I think of is like when you fall down a ledge that's more than one block, there's like the little bit of a squish.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That's one of my touches.
Let's see. Oh, here's a bit of the demo. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
That is the system that I've called dynamic splatting. So in the original version, what we did is we just played an animation and we like scaled it based on how big the drop was. We had a small, medium, and large splat based on how many blocks you fell. Easy. The problem with that I always hated was that if you fall off a ledge, generally there's going to be blocks on that side that you've fallen down on. And so what would happen is you would slat into that wall a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That. So what happens now is we have found this amazing Unity package called Lattice that allows you to, Lattice, ISE, just Lattice.
Oh. Okay, yep.
I forget what it's called. No, not what it's called, who it's by. But it's like 25 American.
Harry Heath? Is that the one?
Yeah, Harry Heath's Lattice, yeah. Mm-hmm. Could not recommend it enough. It's super handy. Harry Heath, if you are listening, I love you. You've saved us so much time and headache. What it does is it allows you to define a bounding box using this, like you can just be like a handle on each vertice of a square, or you can have lots of handles, so you can make like a complicated shape. And what you can do then is put a mesh in that, and then by moving the lattice, you deform the shape within it.
Okay.
And so what we're doing there is when you fall, similar to when we do a move, I check the context of the cube to see which sides are constrained. And then based on that, I try and conserve mass and like splat out in the directions that are unconstrained. So it doesn't go into the wall at all. Yeah.
Let's see if we can get
and it does the same thing when you pick up a carryable.
When you pick up a carryable, where's the...
You don't splat into... Like, if you pick up a carryable next to a wall, you don't goop into the wall at all. You only goop into unconstrained sides.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another little touch that you probably won't have noticed, but, like, it always drove me crazy.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. No, that...
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, you're... I guess it's kind of like you're always... You don't want the cube to clip into the wall. Like, that's the simplest thing.
No, yeah, exactly. And
you want to feel like it's like an object in this world. It's not just the player character.
Yeah, exactly. We want it to sort of conserve mass. Mm-hmm. So we want, like... And like, obviously, that's just the first pass at it. We want to do more than, like, make it a bit more alive than that. But I was very, very happy with that. There's a thing, I work in a co-working space called Game Plus here in Adelaide, and we do fortnightly, like, meetings to show what we've been working on. And it just so happened that I had just finished that system when one of those happened, and I was like, guys, check this out. I'm so proud of this.